Hello and welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to another 24/7 news report. The headline news today comes out from Sky Sports, and that's that Everton are in talks with Chelsea to return Armando Broja. An option being discussed is Everton signing either Keane and DEWSBURY-HALL or Carney Chukwuemeka to replace Broja. Alex Hunter from The Guardian also confirmed this, with Everton are hoping to return Armando Broja to Chelsea due to his injury and exchange his loan for another from Chelsea. Everton have an interest in Kane and DEWSBURY-HALL and Carney Chukwuemeka. This is one we've reported for a while now, but we did run a poll on the Toffee Blues Twitter for both DEWSBURY-HALL and Chukwuemeka. The DEWSBURY-HALL one received 2,653 votes and said that 85% of people said that they would like DEWSBURY-HALL, 11% of people said that they are in the middle about it, and 4% of people said that they wouldn't be interested. I think I mentioned the votes. That is from 2,653, and for Chukwuemeka it was 1,940 votes, and that was 73% saying yes, 22% saying no, they don't know, and 5% being against it. Yes, this is an interesting one because then immediately Alan Myers came out and said that Armando Broja will stay at Everton to continue his recovery from injury, and it's just really disappointing. And it's just it sums up perfectly what I think is going to be the story of this transfer window, and I'll probably get to that a little bit later on in the video after we've discussed a few more targets. But the way I see this transfer window going is it's a very pessimistic view so far, to be honest. We've got 5 days left. I think it ends on the 31st, maybe 6 if it ends on the 1st of February, but 5 or 6 days left, and it feels like we haven't made any progress with any signing. So it's one of those where I can already sense the panic and the rush at deadline day and signing a flop. I can sense it already. It's just what this club seems to do, to be honest with you. And it's one of those things where it just gets annoying to talk about after so much time. The next bit of news comes from Mike Verwij and Telegraph, and that's that Everton have an interest in Ajax striker Brian Brobbey. The Dutch striker was recently spotted in London. West Ham and Tottenham are also interested. West Ham want him on loan with an obligation to buy. Brobbey's an interesting one. He's a good striker, really physical, but he has had some injury issues. He only has 2 goals and 5 assists in 23 matches, but that is in just over 1,000 minutes of competition. That's in both the Europa League and the Dutch League. He's having more success in the Europa League by the looks of it. But yeah, he struggled with injury. Has had 2 relatively good seasons. Last season was really good, 18 goals and 8 assists in the 23-24 season, and 13 goals and 3 assists in the 22-23 season. So it seemed in these past 2 seasons he's really upped his all-around game at getting other players involved and being able to, facilitate the play around a little bit as that hold-up striker. But it's one of those where, do we really want to be signing another injury-prone striker when we've just lost Calvert-Lewin, we've just lost Broja, Chamiti's injured, we've only got Beto to play up front, unless we want to force Illiman and Die up front, and then which is just us forcing him to dribble at the centre-backs every game because we've got no other options. But we did run a poll that had around 2,600 votes. Brian Brobbey at Everton, leave us your thoughts, and it was, this may add up wrong because of some stuff, so it was 58% said yes, 29% said that they don't know, and 14% said no. That may add up a little bit wrong, but that's because it's on 0.5s and 0.9s and stuff like that. But yeah, a lot of signings are just going to have the thumbs up because it's a signing. I feel like that's a lot. Take a pinch of salt with a lot of these Twitter polls is because of that. So many people are desperate for a signing at this point that they're just going to thumbs up anything. But yeah, Brobbey's one where the price they want is probably a bit far out for what he is. I think they want like 20 to 30, even more. Maybe I think I've heard some stuff about 40 million for him. So it's one of those where we'll have to see. Sky Sports News also reported that Ernest Nuamah is set to stay at Lyon, as Everton are considering other targets, considering FC. Yeah, I said this as soon as we mentioned that Lyon had signed Luis Enrique, that Nuamah wasn't going to go because he's probably going to get offered more minutes in the starting 11 now, so we're just going to move on from that. It's getting to a point where I genuinely think for every day we've done a transfer video, we may have mentioned Nuamah in 95% of the videos. So yeah, to be honest, at this point I'm glad it's over because I'm sick of mentioning it. But Everton have an interest in Club Brugge winger Christos Tzolis. The 22-year-old Greek has scored 12 goals and picked up 8 assists in 32 games this season. That comes from transfer.com. You may remember Christos Tzolis from his time at Norwich, which was quite disappointing, but he has been really good in the Belgian league. His underlying statistics are absolutely fantastic. Green's almost everywhere you look. If you look on somewhere like FootMob, where it actually compares to the league that he's in and not the general top 5 European leagues, because that only takes from his Champions League minutes. It doesn't actually include his minutes from the Belgian league in there and his statistics from the Belgian league. But it's looked really mediocre if you take in his championship statistics, but also it's not like we're a Champions League club. So I do think he probably deserves a second chance in England. He's still quite young. He was only 18, 19 years old during his time at Norwich. Really struggled in a bad Norwich team. But who wouldn't struggle in those Norwich teams? As you can see now, they're not really doing the best now either, to be honest with you. But yeah, we did run a poll for this as well. That received 3,500 votes, and 51% said yes, 42% said they don't know, and 8% said no. Yeah, it's one of those where and a lot of it depends on the price tag. If it was a cheap price tag, I'd happily bring him in, because I think he can't be worse than Jack Harrison. I think that's the motto of what we're getting with these videos, to be honest with you. Everton are also showing an interest in Sparta Prague midfield Angelo Preciado. This month, a bid has already been rejected by an unnamed English club for the 26-year-old Ecuadorian. Brentford and Fenerbahce are also interested. That comes from SportX on Twitter. His numbers look absolutely stupid. They look out of this world. I believe he's a right back playing in like a right midfield role. Someone may have to correct me there if they've watched more Sparta Prague than I have, but yeah, he's only played 613 minutes of football. Also, it's the Czech League. But he's played all 90 minutes in these 3 Champions League appearances that he has made. So it's one of those where we'll have to see. We do desperately need a right back. I think Jacob Breen has done good in his first 2 games there, especially the last game against Brighton. But he's a centre-back. I feel like there is some temptation to move into that back 3, and Preciado looks like someone who may be comfortable in that back 3 system, so it would be a good signing. The Mirror reported that Everton are in contact with Brazilian side Botafogo over a potential deal to sign midfielder Danilo Barbosa. Everton, Leeds and Sheffield United have also been offered the chance to sign the Brazilian 28-year-old. A £2 million bid should be enough. Danilo's someone who's an interesting one, because he's not been very good basically everywhere he's gone. Valencia, Benfica, Nice, Braga. I think he may have been okay at Braga. And then he went back to Brazil and has done really impressive for a Botafogo side that I believe won the league either this year or the year before. You may have to correct me there, but it's one of those for £2 million, and if he's willing to take cheap wages, it's worth taking a punt on, because it's nice to have the squad depth, to be honest with you. And the last bit of news to come out today is that this came out before the Brighton game, I believe, and it's that David Moyes has confirmed that Dwight McNeil could require surgery on his knee, and McNeil will see a specialist. It's the look of the season, really, isn't it? And I think this only intensifies the desperate need for a winger. I think we really, really need a winger now if McNeil's going to go off and have knee surgery, which means he's probably gone for the rest of the season. But yeah, it's just another crap note to add on to what's been a pretty crap transfer window. And I don't think it's really anyone's fault. I think the changing managers had a drastic effect. But yeah, I think we need some signings in before deadline day, or we could really be in trouble. I know we're playing well with the 2 wins in a row now against Spurs and Brighton, but we have 0 squad depth. Mangala went down last game, and Dye had to get taken off because he was asking to get subbed off. There were a few players that were got down at one point. We really need more squad depth, and if we don't get it, I'm scared that we could have another major injury like what's happened to Dwight McNeil. And yeah, I mean, Calvert-Lewin, we really need that squad depth, or we are going to be in a relegation zone, not because the bad manager or the players are awful, but because 1 or 2 injuries more, and that's it. We're down to academy players and people who haven't played football in years, so it's like, what are we going to do exactly? But that is all for this video. If you did enjoy, please make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Everton Newsfeed, and follow me on Twitter at Callum3. And I'll see you all for the next video and our live stream that I am on. Goodbye, everyone.